So my first 90 days of GT12 on-road racing have been challenging to say the least. That's me in the red car that was starting in the back and running into everybody and crashing into things and about ready to just do something amazing here on the big sweeper. Yeah, going the wrong way there. Pretty entertaining stuff. But this has been an experience. I have had a great time and I'm looking forward to the future and obviously improving. So let's talk about it now. I'm Chad. This is the Dorky and 40 RC channel and maybe we're going to get faster today. I'm not sure. So my first 3 months of racing on road all the time has been quite an experience. It's had some peaks and it's had some valleys. I'm kind of in a valley right now. There's definitely a lot of love-hate going on. You can definitely get used to seeing a lot of stuff all over your bench. These cars take a lot of meticulous time and setup and measuring and adjustments. It's a total game of millimeters. So if you are a tinkerer, you will love this class. If you have raced RC before and you think you could, if you've raced any kind of RC before, you should be able to pick things up no problem and probably do way better than me. I just am having problems developing my skills. I am happy to see that some of these skills from driving these cars and putting in the track time has actually went over to driving the buggy and made that more just better. So the entire RC experience has actually gotten better. And of course, you know, we've learned a lot about, man, so many different things. Taking a look here at a couple of the cars, I started out running the CRC CK25. It's a very fast car. People love it. Really easy to work on. Parts and everything are super cheap. A little rough for me just because I wanted something that had more data available, like YouTube videos, things like that to learn from. So that's why I ended up switching over and running with an X-Ray 2023, also a 2022, but there's really not a whole lot of difference between the two. 23's got a few extra modifications on it. Just actually rebuilt this today because we're going to be running locally here soon. So kind of thinking about running two different cars, trying two different things, and just wanted to get both of them up and running. Unfortunately, I know what this one does, but I had to steal some body posts and a couple things like that to get this baby up and running. And we got a couple weeks before we get going up there. There's a big on-road race up at Norcar this weekend, like a 3-day race. I won't be going to that, but that is okay. So the other huge issue that I've had with these 12 scale cars is body shell cutting, mounting, and everything else. These things, this is a bitty version that's a little bit thicker than the super rads that we typically use. These things are like wet noodles when you cut them. They break really easy when you crash, which when you're new, you crash. So I've went through more RC bodies in the past 3 months than I ever have doing anything with buggies, drag racing, or anything else. The other thing, of course, is the whole tire game. People talk about racing and the tire game and everything else. Not really that super crazy when it comes into like carpet buggies. They just kind of, you just run them and they just kind of last. These things, they're rubber tires. They constantly need maintenance. They constantly need skimmed. They need constantly trued, cleaned, prep before the race with a pretty mild prep, all kinds of stuff. And then besides the tires, there's other maintenance that you have to do because when your tires are getting smaller, you're constantly chasing things like ride height. So you got to check and make sure you have all your different proper shims, all that kind of stuff. Do all of your different measurements with your ride height gauges on both sides. Make sure everything's the same. Check your tweak, which is basically how the springs underneath here kind of flex and control the back pod. So it is a constant tuner's game and mess, that is for sure. One reason why I was attracted to the X-Ray a little bit more was the fact that, you know, they have a freaking totally awesome manual that you get with it. And this is like their online version. And it's great because it tells you, gives you a lot of hints, even though a lot of this stuff is kind of geared toward the faster, like 17.5 and 13.5, like kind of mod type of cars that are just, you know, super crazy, that like Hagberg races and stuff. But you can kind of still go through all of the different blurbs that they have here with all of their settings and initial settings and stuff, and they tell you and give you examples of what, if you move this here and add this here, what you can kind of expect. And you know, some of that holds true, but again, a lot of it is for the faster cars, and you want these cars to behave a little bit differently than one of the super fast cars. So there's other things that I've done kind of to the car to help things kind of mod out. These things are all built around running like a direct drive spool now. But when you're starting out new, it is like a lot of power. So on the X-Ray right now, I have a ball differential, which isn't too bad. You got to take it apart like every once in a while and add some grease and clean things up and all that kind of stuff. And then over here, I actually have a gear diff. This is Awesomatics gear diff that is on here, and a little bit heavier, but you know, it doesn't require as much maintenance. You kind of put some oil in it and stuff, and you're pretty good to go. A little heavier, again, like I said. Eventually you want to get to the spool, so that way you can have as much power, but you got to learn obviously how to put that power down, and that is something that I haven't got to yet. So I've left races a few times, very disappointed. I've left races a couple times because things have broke and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore that day. Track time is super important. Like, I can tell that if I don't get any track time in during a week and I go up like from a Saturday to a Saturday, that I don't perform nowhere nearly as well. Sometimes I've found that if I'm up there too long or too much during the week, that I will get my car to like a peak and I'll just keep playing with it. And it seems like I'll fall off the cliff and I'm not able to get like that level of performance and that setup on that car back, because again, you're constantly, it's a balancing act. You're constantly chasing tires and different setups and fluids and all that kind of stuff. In the meantime, grip levels are different, and you know, you actually do, it's pretty crazy that you start to like be able to, you hear people talking about things like the temperature inside going up or down or something, and the grip levels changing, and you can actually kind of see that now when you start turning so many laps on the track. I definitely need to get a lot better at steering and controlling the vehicle. I've got a few different things that are set up a little bit different on both of these. You know, the gear diff should help out with consistency and stuff a little bit. The ball diff isn't too bad as well. You can see we've got a couple different kind of servos. We've got the Sanwa SXR up here, which is, you know, ultra micro, ultra fast. We've got the KO over here, which is almost as fast, but it's more of a mini versus like a micro. And, you know, these cars kind of like are a lot different. Like if you want steering on a buggy, you know, you add a lot of weight to the front of it. Well, you don't want to do things like that so much here. You want your weight kind of like balanced and evenly distributed, because, you know, everything is relying on this pod back here. You know, everything's just kind of flexing back there and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, you definitely want to have left to right balance. Forward to back, I don't think is that important right now. You kind of just are kind of where you are, and you are, as you can see, limited by space where you can put everything. So all in all, my first 90 days have been fantastic. Do I wish I'd have done better? Sure do. I need to pick a platform and just keep with it and just keep turning laps and see what's happening. I wish I had some better race results for it, Can kind of maybe go practice a little bit this week. Not going to the big race, but still want to go up there and see what this baby can do. And then this Saturday is buggy time. So it's going to be a full Saturday of B64 and 6.3 buggy racing. So we'll have some more stuff coming up on that. So appreciate all of you guys. Thanks a lot. Peace.